Snow one day, sun the next. Hey guys, here with TheEZGZ. I want to show you some cool stuff today. Yeah, we're going to talk about cooling your Volkswagen engine. Yeah, this is a 1776 single port project. I'm waiting on a generator. I've needed to get a new one. I used my spare on the Baja recently, as a matter of fact. So I was looking at it and I thought, well, I wonder if I could salvage this thing or do anything to it. And as I was looking at it closer, I realized and remembered that I had stolen the brush retainer spring. It looks like a clock spring, and it puts pressure down on the carbon brush. And if you don't have those, and if you're sitting outside with your setup exposed like this, that little raw spring will come under attack from the elements. So another thing I noticed is, this was probably a good thing. Look at the in play. You can probably hear it. So there was just a little bit of play in this rear bearing. This is the fan side bearing. It's tight on the pulley side, and it turns okay, but it's very dry. And you can pop that cover off and order a bearing online and press it off and press the new one on. And that's the thing that you should be doing maintenance on now and checking now. So I had this all apart, waiting for my brand new Bosch generator to show up. I got my rattle can paint out and I did some painting here. I dug through my fan supply to find a fan, and I'm telling you, it makes a big difference when you clean up these fans. I promise you, get all that dirt and gunk and crap out of there. If you have a sandblaster, it sure make this job a lot easier. I tried soaking it in the solvent tank. I tried cleaning it in the house. I couldn't find very many brushes that would fit down inside there. I have this little these little steel toothbrushes, and I was even trying to get some of that stuff. That one looks like it's a stiff kind of a nylon, but I tried all kinds of things. Cooling. I want to tell you guys, this is the Pulley. You might recall, if you've been with me for a few years, that I took my Baja to Portland from Denver. That was like a 5,000 mile round trip venture, and I lost my fan when I was out there. The inside of this fan got all cracked. I might see if I can find some footage on that and insert it in here too. But this fan, I don't know if it'll show up. Look at that crack going all around the outside of that center hole. It was still captured by those washers because they're pretty heavy. Here's one right here. It's a big, thick wave washer, and it was captured there, but that sucker was making noise. It was flexing in there. So lucky that didn't happen on the road. And I got a new welded, balanced one, and this one is going in the drain. At any rate, that's what I've been doing today. Sorry, I won't. But this thing was all cracked, and I could hear a noise at certain RPM, but I didn't know what it was, and it was almost cracked all the way around that area, and the washer was the only thing keeping that thing. I'm so lucky that I didn't lose the fan. That could have ruined my day for sure. So I got this all apart, and I'm looking at it, and I'm cleaning every little piece up, and look what I found on this. Yeah, see that little groove? That's where you start getting trouble. You get harmonics, you get vibration. These things are balanced to a reasonable RPM, but I'm going to flip this thing over here, and I'm just going to show you that when I put this in there, see that? Now, side to side, it's not the end of the world, but if that gets off center with the RPM that thing is going, I just think it's a good idea to go ahead and replace this with a new one. And the gods shined on me again today. I'm telling you, he must love idiots, because he sure spends a lot of time with me. I got this one right here, And I'm going to have to do some massaging on this one because it doesn't quite even want to go in. This one is so tight. And that brought me to going through this box of supply parts where I found that. And I was reminded of something that I've kept a secret for many years. I used to have a center mount fan shroud and a dry sump oil system. When you do that, you have to run a smaller pulley on the crankshaft. Now, to compensate for that, you can order a pulley for a 356 Porsche. I think I got this from Pelican. Pelican sells a lot of Porsche stuff. Just put in Pelican Supply. I'm not promoting their channel or anything else. But these were for a 356 Porsche, and it is a smaller diameter, and it makes your fan turn faster at lower RPM. You got that? Everything is engineered. And so to get my fan speed back up, I put this smaller pulley on. Now, you might ask yourself, well, how much smaller is it? Small enough where your belt's not going to work. I remember that being a hassle, aggravating the guy at the parts counter. Now, this is an all-steel German pulley that I bought while I was in Oregon. It was used, and the chrome ones that you buy, that chrome don't get you home, baby. And this is one area that's really critical, and you don't compromise this thing and just throw this stuff together on that alternator or generator fan setup, because this will always fail at the worst possible time. So this was a good German one, and this one stayed tight and fit and worked. And I bought this little blingy thing to go inside there, and I think the reason why this little curve is there was a balance weight on one of these at one time, and this could throw the balance off, so keep that in mind. Okay, now back to the thing. How much smaller is it? Okay, we're gonna eyeball the shafts, and you're gonna say, okay, that much isn't that much difference. But it does make a difference, and it makes the fan turn faster. So in the summertime, or if you're having cooling problems, my friend Mike Hammer is having problems, this is something you might consider. I'm also run across something new, a crankshaft pulley that is 10% bigger than the stock pulley. That could be an option, and I'll get back to you on that. Now, here's something that I just noticed since I have all these old parts. This appears to be off of an earlier style. Now, I don't know if the center shaft is the same. I'll measure that in a second. But it looks like maybe a 6-volt pulley is about the same. It's smaller than the big one. And the other thing is, if you get a smaller belt, a new belt will ride higher. An old used belt will sit deeper, and you'll have to move your shims to get the proper belt tension. You know how this stuff works. The deeper it sits in that upper pulley, the faster it's going to turn. So these are some things to look at, some options for you. Good luck with the aftermarket stuff and the bling, and you can see that this won't even fit inside there on either one. So it's something to investigate on your own. The thermostat's over here. It's not connected. And I'm not going to do my lower tins or anything like that. I want to get my break-in time, my cam break-in, and get that out of the way. So my lower tins are going to be hitting on that Type 3 tin. That's not a perfect match. I'd forgotten about that little item. I trimmed my tin. I had some rotten tin here that had the holes all enlarged and didn't fit very good at all. And I have two sets of tin. This is the good set of tin down there. I've just set it there to get it out of the way where my new paint, my rattle can paint, won't get scratched. So I put this one on, and you can see I trimmed it over here just to have better access, ease for cleaning, and if I do want to do some maintenance or adjustment, since these are going to be in different cars that have exposed, these things were packed with all kinds of gunk on top of these flanges all around in this area. So I just opened them up and cut it off. because it's not going to be enclosed in an engine compartment. I think it looks nicer, cleaner, and when you do service your valves, you don't have to worry about bumping into things and knocking stuff into your oily valve spring setup. So you can see what I'm talking about right here. It comes out. Now, if I run it in the Baja, I'll want to run this breastplate, is what they call that, so that the air that's from my heater boxes won't get sucked into it. And it doesn't look like this fits too good right there. Have I got this on backwards? Totally wrong. I might have it ass backwards. No, I don't. See, with this one doesn't have the hole for the doghouse cooler. I had to root around in some of my stuff to find this one too. So I can't use that breastplate. So I'm going to have to change these tins in order to run it in the Baja with the heater boxes. So in the summertime, because when you don't have the heat on, you still have air flowing through the boxes. Heat riser with a center mount carb, you need heat. I just threw this header on it because I like the looks of it, but I talked about this in my last video. It doesn't have the flange, but I'm just kind of looking at things here, and if you'll note, on most of these aftermarket ones, they come out on both sides. Well, here, the Baja's right here. I'll show you what I was talking about. See, these still have the flanges. So I'm going to take the header off the Baja and move it over to the other one and take that one I was just showing you, put it on this one, because this one's got flanges. But that's not how the stock did it. And even if you make a larger hole on cylinder 4 side, and a small hole on the other side, you will get a little bit of flow and a little heat migration, but that's not what the factory did. What the factory did was completely separate that thing. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. This is a good German muffler, and it comes down on this side, and it comes down in the back, and it comes right in the end of this hole. It doesn't restrict it or completely block it, but this is where it exits. And I'm not so sure if on that other setup on the Baja, if I just left this flange apart, since I'm not going to have heater boxes, you got to be careful. There's a lot of things. If you're using heat, and you could get exhaust getting sucked into your fan shroud and then bring it into the inside the car with you and asphyxiate yourself to one degree or another. But that's probably why I got the way I am. Using this other exhaust, I might, with the glass packs there coming out the sides, I might do that on startup too, just to allow me to access this stuff, timing and looking for oil leaks and all the little things that you do. So yeah, that's where we're at now. For break-in oil for my initial cam break-in, I just got this Super Tech at Walmart. It was like the cheapest oil I could find. It was like 12 bucks for 5 quarts. And I bought a Super Tech filter. This is a lousy filter, but it's going to be good enough. And I'm going to throw it away. Oh, actually, we're going to cut it open and look inside of it. It is a replacement filter. Now, a lot of different filters fit on that. You can get that Bosch filter, the Hastings filter, Wix filters, the Fram PH8A is a big old filter that holds almost a quart, and I don't know that it does a lot of good, just gives you a bigger target. I thought this was smaller, and I just left that box on there so you could see what I was talking about. Yeah, this is a real crummy filter, but it fits on there. It's just a pipe thread. And you want to be careful. I'm not sure if this even has a backflow valve, but there is a relief valve in the back. So most of these filters don't filter 100% of the time. None of them do. Every system has got some sort of a relief in it of some kind. So I'll pre-fill that, and I'm just using that 10W30. It's not conventional oil, but that'll be good enough for what we're going to do to start this thing up. Put the hammered rattle can on there. Like I say, I'm just kind of waiting on the FedEx this time. FedEx is who they're using for shipping that stuff to me. So, yeah, I think we covered stuff that's important enough. I found my parts washer. I found a couple of crankshafts. There's some diesel fuel in that little bucket. And Just been killing time out here in the garage, enjoying the day. Got the garage door open. It's supposed to be even nicer tomorrow. Got the starting motor hooked up. I cut the, it was a bad transmission. I cut the bell housing off so that I can use it in this stand. And I'll get my battery over here, and that way I can fire this thing up and do it up here on the stand. You got to be careful. You're starting to get some weight. When you get the entire full dress engine on here, you're getting some weight on this baby. So be careful with that. Alright, I got to insert this. This is just frustrating. Okay, here's the one in question. This is the stock one, and it's gotten somewhat loose for some reason, or had some vibration to it. It's made that groove in there, and as you can see, when you put it in there, it'd be a lot tighter once the lock washer is put down there. But this will chew up your fan. It's already chewed up the nut, and I've had a bad experience, as I told you, with that before. So that's the one that I wanted to replace. So I went through my stuff here. I found this in a bag, and I looked at it, and I says, oh, well, let's see what's going on here. I cannot, it goes in from the other side. It does not want to go in, no matter which way you flip it. And I got to looking at it, and I decided, okay, time to get out the file, do a little massaging. But as I looked at it, and I saw these marks on there, I thought, well, look, there's a space here on this side, and there's like no space on that side. That does not look centered to me. It's made off-center. And then I thought, I wonder if this is one of those ones that my son had trouble with, because he went through some kind of nightmare, and this has been on something, and it's come off. So it's like, what's the deal on that? Well, okay, so I go through my box of stuff that I've kept, and I said, all right, here's a brand new from Scat. Hasn't even been opened yet, December of 1998. So it was still stapled shut. And I looked at it, and it's like, ooh, that looks familiar. And guess what? I see the same thing. I haven't touched this. I see a space, a thicker space here where my thumb is versus this other side. The only way I'm going to tell for sure is to put it on the shaft and spin it. But this is a different company. I suppose it does not want to go in, no matter which way I go. All right. So another possible turd, right? Now, where is the last one? Okay, so now I find this used one. Okay, this one looks to me like it's the same on both sides, just eyeballing it. It's a dirty stock one. It's hard to go in, but once it goes in, it doesn't have hardly any movement. This is the one that's going to win. This is the one I'm going to use. This is going to be a pick of the litter build, baby. Yep. So, there you go. You just got to be careful. Don't assume everything's right. It's a shame. But, you know, as an individual, as a mechanic in a shop, you don't have the time to fiddle with all this stuff. You slap it on and send it out the door. I'm sorry, that's life. That's just the way it is. I don't care. You can't make money. You can't charge 90 bucks an hour for your work and take all damn day to do it. People aren't, you know, this ain't going to cut it. And your employer's got to make money. So this, I've harped on this before. They're going to take this stuff out of the package. They're going to tap on it, get it in there, put it together, wrench it down, send it out the door. You know, and it probably run for a year or 2 years, especially nowadays. I mean, people don't put the miles I do on my cars. I shouldn't harp on that. You'd think I was getting a fat head or my ego was getting away, and it's not really, it doesn't have anything to do with that, but I do, and I think most people that watch my videos see and appreciate that I'm living in the past. I'm driving these cars for my source of transportation. I got this 2004 Lightning with hardly any miles on it. It's basically to pull my trailer. And that thing sits out there in the street. That beautiful supercharged truck sits out there in the street. It's not that fun to drive. You don't have to drive it. You get in, you put it in gear and step on the gas. It's got power windows, power mirrors, power this, power that. I like a car that I can drive. I want a manual car. I want something that I feel like I'm doing something and that I can reach over and turn the window up or down and it's not some electrical gizmo to go wrong. I just like manual cars. And it's kind of crazy. So I do put a lot of miles. I put the worst kind of miles is that stop and go in-town traffic stuff. All right, let's see what we waited for. I feel like I've been waiting half my life for this thing. Hey, you're back in the garage with TheEZGZ. And let's see what big box for a generator. Woohoo, yeah, a generato. A generato. What the hell country is that? Well, look at this. Okay. Oh. Ooh. What? Ooh. Oh my. That's like bling deluxe. Oh, and it even has a dust cover. Oh my gosh. I'm happy. I'm happy so far. Sorry guys, I forget to turn you back on. I'm getting kind of excited here. The generator went in just fine. Having a little problem with rocker arm geometry. Nothing magical here. Just 30 weight Valvoline VR1 with the zinc in it. It is a little messy. It's a lot easier having an engine stand. Now this one, the hole must be lined up with the oil galley. Wow. You see it and hear it pop out? Yeah, that's exactly. This lifter happens to be lined up with the oil galley. And I'm not going to fill that whole thing with a with my fingers. Okay. Then just set your valves. Stock on late model is 6 thousandths. Okay, so hopefully tomorrow will be liftoff. Got oil in it. Got my refrigeration gauge going to my oil sending unit, and I'm very confident of those numbers. Look at how close the clearance is here on the bell housing to the flywheel. If you ever tried to put a 200 millimeter 12 volt flywheel in a 6 volt transmission, it won't just bolt in. You have to grind it away. You have to clearance it at the 4 mounting bolts. You'll see it when you get in there. You'll probably see some rub marks, and it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to just go in there and rotate your crankshaft as you've got it in place, and then drop it back down, and then it'll make it mark exactly where you need to go. Don't have the thermostat hooked up, but I got my flappers in, got the spring on, the generator is looking good. These spark plug wires, I always cursed these things with dual port manifolds because it just didn't seem like you could get enough room, especially with the big IDF Weber carbs and stuff. But they work perfect on this. It's like they were made for it. Fits right in the tin, a little groove there. I better put a cap on my oil. And I got to put some springs on my exhaust. Rig up some sort of a temporary muffler. Kind of go through the carburetor. Still a little bit to do. Tomorrow's another day. And I'm looking forward to it. So, yeah. Sun's going down. I'm tired. Went for a bike ride this afternoon and a yoga class, so I'm ready to call it a day. Head out and have some fun. But wait! There's more! I need a burrito. That's what I need.